Hello and welcome to episode 365 of the Heart of Markness Led Zeppelin podcast. If this is your first time, welcome. Well, if this isn't your first time, welcome. Everybody welcome here. What I do every week is I choose a concert by Led Zeppelin or Led Zeppelin adjacent artists, like their solo work or The Firm or things like that. And I play recordings from these shows called, typically colloquially referred to as bootlegs, because you can't just go into the store and buy these. Typically. So what we're doing this week is I'm going to play a few songs from June 29th, 1980, which is when Led Zeppelin played Zurich, Switzerland. It's a big show in that it was the very, very, very first CD bootleg of Led Zeppelin ever released. Led Zeppelin tour over Europe. I have it. I bought it. I have the discs. I do not have the case. I don't know what happened. Such is life, so it is probably not worth much. But it was the first of the rash of 1980s soundboard recordings that then came out on CD on labels like Toasted and Neutral Zone and shit like that. Way back. I'm talking like 35 years ago. Or more. Jesus. In any case, what this is not that recording per se, which was the soundboard. This is taken from a Westwood One FM radio recording, which was broadcast, according to the notes here, in 2000. But I swear I heard it in like 1992 at some point. I remember tuning into WBCN at some point at night and hearing tracks from this show, which I knew by heart because I had the disc, but in better quality, and then with commentary by Jason Bonham, I think. So, I don't know. That's just an old-ass memory I have, but I saw this show and grabbed it, which is the soundboard recording that we all know and love, but disc 3 is actually the tracks used from the Westwood One broadcast. Now, a slight caveat is it is taped off the radio, so it sounds like it is taped off the radio. There is a noise floor that is there, but it also sounds a little more tightened, polished up, post-production wise, like it was prepped and maybe mastered for broadcast, or maybe I'm just full of shit. Who knows? In any case, let me tell you what is on this, because if you are a patron on one of the paid tiers, $5 a month or above, you get access to our cloud drive, which has all these wonderful shows and fully available to you. I used to have it publicly available, but then there was that glorious day when I got hit with 84 copyright strikes in 5 minutes, and my account was shut down. So there's that. So it's a typical 1980s show. They open with Train Kept A-Rollin' and Nobody's Fault But Mine, Black Dog, In the Evening Rain Song, Hot Dog, All of My Love, Trampled Underfoot, Since I've Been Loving You, Achilles' Last Stand, White Summer, Black Mountainside, Kashmir, which they really did a number with on that show. It's funny. Stairway to Heaven, Rock and Roll, and Heartbreaker. Now, the Westwood One broadcast portion is on disc 3, and it only has, it has the radio interview, J.J. Jackson, remember him from MTV, friend of the band, doing the intro, and then we get Trampled Underfoot, Since I've Been Loving You, Achilles' Last Stand, and Stairway. So it's coolio. What I'm playing for you today is going to be, I'm going to start with Trampled Underfoot, which is always a banger in 1980 as far as I know. I don't know of any shows which aren't awesome with Trampled, or at least fine. This is awesome. They really did a good job with Trampled in 1980, and Jimmy throwing in lots and lots of cool wah-wah licks. It's a good, so let us listen to it, shall we? Here we go.
Inspired.
Oh,
Dankeschön. Thank you very much, Tom.
It's crazy. 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, the 1980 tour was considered to be pretty bad. Pretty bad. Lots of, qualifiers and lots of because the soundboard that I referred to earlier, the soundboard tapes which were stolen from Jimmy and released on bootleg, really didn't do anybody any favors. It's like photographs with poor lighting to highlight your bad qualities. The mastering for this to broadcast it smoothed out things. The audience was obviously just piped in from another recording, because Christ almighty, or maybe not, but it was certainly loud at times and then like instantly gone when the band started playing. But I liked that. I liked that performance. It was high energy. It was high energy. It was tight but loose. Jimmy doing cool wah-wah shit. Robert into it. Robert's voice in 1980 strong. And, of course, Jonesy and Bonzo doing their thing. Bonzo dialed it back a little bit on this show from prior tours, because the show before this in Nuremberg on the 27th of June, our boy collapsed and was unable to play after the first few songs. He wasn't, obviously none of these, Jimmy and Bonzo, were not in good states physically or mentally. They were both struggling with their addictions. And of course, Bonzo would succumb to his addiction 6 months after this, not 6 months, 3 months after this show, and unfortunately pass away. And Jimmy, we all know, once that happened, spent a couple years deep in it, and it took him a long time to crawl back into the light, but we're glad he did. So there is that. Trampled Underfoot, foot. Great wah-wah work. I really like that. And that one lick where it's ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I've had that in my head for 40 years, and it makes me happy. Nextly, I'm going to play for you from the Westwood One, Achilles' Last Stand. Another one that is usually solid on the 1980 tour, which shows how these guys had it, because Achilles' Last Stand is not for the faint-hearted. It is not easy to play. So I think if anything, it might have been a lack of improvisational inspiration that might have held things back a little bit, and that when it's time to solo and Jimmy would, wing his solos for 98% of the songs, that if there's nothing there to wing, then you just kind of got to plunk along and hope something comes out. Maybe that's what it was. But that is not the case with Achilles, because it's not a song you really jam with. It's more like a Rush song or something that you perform. So let us listen to the best band in the world perform one of their bestest songs. Achilles' Last Stand, June 29th, 1980. This is the Westwood One radio broadcast. BBC was alleged to have recorded this by J.J. Jackson. You didn't hear the intro because you didn't need to. But he said the BBC were there to record this. Obviously, that's not the case. This is just the soundboard recording that had been tightened up because, it's not a super professional recording. It's a nicely mastered soundboard, which if we had the pre-FM recording of this, the Westwood One off the discs or something, then I bet it sounds awesome, and I'm actually going to look for that, because why can't that exist, right? But until I find it, we got this, so let's listen to Achilles' Last Stand. Here we go.
now be back with the live version of almost everybody's favorite Led Zeppelin song when the Superstar Concert Series reconnects.
Not for you, though. Oh, no, no, no. Examine yourself. Look inward. Have you really been good, true, and virtuous enough for another one of these wonderful songs? No, you have not. No, you have not. Nor I, so I cannot play one, so I apologize. I will, however, play another song, for I am merciful, from the good old-fashioned soundboard recording, not the super BBC, Westwood One, yada yada, mastered one, but the good old-fashioned soundboard recording that we've had for 40 years, like I talked about, or 35, 36, 37 years. In any case, because I am merciful, I will provide that for you. But Foist, you want to talk about merciful? Let me talk about the Titans, upon whose shoulders rests this humble yet mighty podcast. I am, of course, speaking of my patrons. Oh, and there's a new one to the number. Well, hello, I didn't get the notice that you did that. Well, I apologize. I'll pop you a little message saying howdy shortly. Terrence, our new patron. All hail. So a laurel and a hearty handshake goes out to the folks keeping the lights on here. And that is Terrence, Jimmy, Expat Mike, Stefan, John, Gary, Keith, Tilda, Steve, George, Big Ed, Kenny of similar size. This has been confirmed. Picard, Kneggern, Wayne, Brad, Danielle, Tracy, Other and Supreme, David, reminding you that if it's time to get a colonoscopy, go get a colonoscopy. Or else, trouble might happen. Esox Hunter, Bonzo Billy, and Mimo. Thank you, friends. And I also have, those are the members that pay $5 or more a month. They get read out. I used to read out the free members, but now there's like 40 of them, and that's just a lot. So thank you, all the free members. I love you all. You do have access to the bonus episodes, that the addenda that follow. Like, for example, after this show is over, I'm going to record a patron episode for all these members, including the free ones. So if you become a free member, you get the extra one every week, where I will play a couple more songs from that Westwood One and clear out what we have of that and talk about it, and maybe even have some J.J. Jackson shit. Who knows? Anything can happen. So that's what happens there. So thank you, free members. Thank you, paid members. And like I said, if you join as a free member, you get a little extra additional song or two from the same show that just carries on, like the bonus footage and shit that's included in DVDs and Blu-rays. That's what that is. Now, if you're a paid member, you get all of those every week. You get your little extra episodes, but you also get at least once a month a special episode recorded just for you that is usually of some higher tier, rarer, deeper fan stuff. Jimmy and Roy Harper, John Paul Jones and them Crooked Vultures, or some of the wackadoodle shit he's been doing. All that stuff, or just more cool Zeppelin. You never know. But go there, patreon.com/heartofmarkness. See what's there. I've got years and years and years of stuff already there, which you already get access to. So see if there's something there for you. Love to have you. Thank you, folks. You mean the world to me. Here endeth the lesson. Let us get to the show. I'm going to play for you now. Again, this is off the good old soundboard recording, not the radio broadcast. It is going to be the second song of the set, Nobody's Fault But Mine, which I love on this tour because they get rid of the solid minute of because, okay, we get it. That's how the song goes. And they go straight into which you're going to hear in a moment. And it is awesome. And you will love it, I hope. And if you don't, well, then I'm sorry. Where is my cursor? There it is. And here we go. Nobody's Fault But Mine from the soundboard, June 29th, 1980.
Nobody's fault but mine.
Nobody's fault but mine. Nobody's fault but mine. Susie told me the road. I said to the girl, I'm rolling on the line. It's nobody's fault but mine. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy.
There you go. You got a show. Are you not entertained? I hope you like that. I do like the 1980s Nobody's Fault But Mine. Super nice. It would be cool to hear somebody work on one of those AID mix remixes of this tour, because there's a lot of meat on that bone that could be worked with. Thank you for listening, everybody. I'll be back next week, God willing, with another one. But in the meantime, times be crazy. Shit's not great. Please be good to yourself and each other. All right? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.